Ow.
Thing sucks. I'm gonna have to censor that one for you too. First 5 seconds. But anyway, so I always forget to do the introduction, but it's a long time coming. I've wanted to get you on the show for almost like 2-3 years now.
Cool.
I'm here with oh man, this is gonna sound terrible, but I'm here with like one of my absolute favorite contemporary artists, Zack Brown, and
flatter me.
No, I truly think that in a sea of schlock and kitsch and just very, very terrible people in charge of the art world, I think that you've managed to really capture something in terms of a very fresh contemporary style, but something that is very ancient as well. And
Thank you.
we'll get into that. But before we get into that, introduce your. I mean, what's your CV? How did you start on your journey towards your very particular idiosyncratic style? Like, I wanted to talk to you about your both like artistic and spiritual influences,
Yeah.
but also I think the technicalities of your painting process, because as an artist myself, like I'm very fascinated, having seen your work in person, I'm incredibly fascinated by a lot of your color choices and a lot of the very textile nature of your work. Because I'm a guy that I love texture. I'm very post-impressionist. So, but where did you start off? Like, what's your favorite color? How long have you been an alcoholic? What's your patch? So, yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been doing art since I was little. It's one of the things that always like gravitated to. I remember it was like I must have been in first grade. We took a family trip to IKEA. My dad's an architect, so I knew people design things, and I told my dad in the minivan ride home that I want to design furniture for IKEA when I grow up.
Oh,
And
wow.
he makes a hilarious joke. He goes, "Zach, you can't design furniture for IKEA. You're not Swedish." And I'm like, crap. So it was then in that like car ride, it was like, oh, I guess maybe I guess I'll have to be an artist. So I kind of decided then that's what I was gonna be. And I knew Jackson Pollock was a person, and I knew Andy Warhol was a person, so I knew like you could do this. And yeah, I've just kind of been dead set on being a living artist since then.
Oh yeah.
And once I make my mind up about something, I kind of stick with it forever, whether that's like gin or my wife.
There you go. I see you have a Negroni there. That
Yeah,
you're sipping on. So
they're fantastic.
that seems to be a very like a chic in
Yeah, it's
culture.
very in vogue. I don't want to be one of the people that, no, I was drinking them before they were cool. But hey, you know what? The more popular they become, the more bars have like Campari on hand, so I can get it more places.
There you go. No, but you know what's funny though is because there was a huge tradition of, especially like the New York school, but even outside of the New York school in Europe, such as from like Franz Klein to Francis Bacon, where they initially did design furniture, but they were like, "Oh, I hated that." No, I didn't actually do that. But then you have Andy Warhol, who's like, "Well, yeah, I mean, this is great. Like, the canvas
Oh
suit."
wow, great. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. You should come pose for me.
Yeah, he was like just
Uh-huh.
totally shameless about it. Yeah, yeah.
Did you ever see that documentary, Shock of the New, um,
Yes. Yeah.
where he's like, he's talking about meeting Andy Warhol. He's some, Saudi who owns a bunch of Warhols, whose father collected Warhol, and the son collects Damien Hirst. And he's like, I met Andy. Hughes says to the guy, I met Andy Warhol. He was probably one of the dullest people I ever encountered.
I think Warhol was playing a trick on him though, because he
I think
hated
so.
yeah.
Well, I think Warhol, in some ways, I think it's a lot deeper than people give him credit
Oh, yeah.
for. I mean, the man went to mass daily. I mean, like any other tragic homosexual, completely devoted to his mother and upholding his. I think he was he? He wasn't Orthodox. He was Byzantine Catholic.
Yes, he was Byzantine Catholic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually went to the church that that he went to. He frequented every day. with
Yeah.
his mother, and it's quite a fabulous Byzantine Catholic church.
Mhm.
Um, but
Is it
yeah,
the one down in the Run?
yes, yes, it's down the road.
I
Yeah.
have my buddy, he has he bought a row house there and has a storefront
Mm.
on it, and he does like art events out of it. He's an amazing ceramicist,
Oh
uh,
wow.
sculptor. But I showed some of his work at the last show I did here at the schoolhouse in the hall. But he runs this kind of little like artist club out of it called Nazvazek, which I guess is
Mm.
like the Polish translation for our thing, you know?
This thing of ours, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh wow, that's great. But I wanted to ask you though, like again, I wanted to get into the technicality of your work,
Yeah, we can do
but
shop talk.
sure, let's do that first before we get into like the deeper stuff, or stuff we may have to paywall. But uh, you have a very interesting body of work in terms of the focus. Not just the singular figure. There's a lot of multiples, but the series, the figure, a huge scale. I believe one interview said it would take you about a month or so to compose a work. Um,
Yeah, from start to
yeah,
finish, if I'm a good boy and painting, at least like 3 to 6 hours daily. I mean, there's dry time in between different stuff,
yeah,
but I like doing them in series. It was a luxury I had before having a kid to take on these kind of like I like when the paintings start to talk to each other. I
oh
love
yeah,
organizing a solo show because then like the Death of the Lunar Cult show. It's fun when you go into space and it's almost like a kind of like a Rothko Chapel vibe thing you
hmm
can do, or it
hmm
feels like um, a chapel or a tomb or this kind of like singular vision in one space, and you're kind of entering into that, and that's what I always liked. And growing up and going to church, having something that's kind of organized and displayed and has a kind of direction and vision to it, and you kind of enter into that space and you kind of live there for a little while.
yeah. And do you notice when you're doing the series that, I mean, to keep motivated to actually do a series is quite a feat. But do you notice that there's sort of do you start off with a theme and then the paintings themselves organically grow from that, or do you sort of have like they reverberate with each other over time when you're doing it?
More so, like, it kind of comes to me all in one swoop, or like there'll be an idea of some paintings that go together, and they're already kind of talking to each other while it's like in the
Mm.
concept phase, and yeah, and then you start putting them together, and they start coming. And I'll work all on all of them simultaneously. So
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah, and that's how I keep like all my colors you know, together and matching, and I'll mix up one like big batch of like my flesh layer, so I'll keep consistency through different things. Yeah, it's fun. Although I've been doing more like piecemeal paintings, like so I'm doing just like triptychs now, just because my time is a
Mm.
little more limited
Yeah.
at the moment. But hoping to uh, next summer I have another solo show that I'm gonna kind of just put all these triptychs together. So we'll see how they start to interact.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Mhm.
But you do have an incredible sense for realism and scale, but at the same time, your color choices, I mean, they go like in Death of the Lunar Call, for instance, they go quite well with the themes. Like you have this stunning ability um, with greens. I noticed. Like, do you
Yeah.
prefer like Viridian or chromium oxide, or what are you using for
Um,
the green
I
flash?
honestly, what I find is just some of the like the cheapo, transparent, like Winsor Newton greens, or like the transparent green or
Oh
transparent
wow.
teal. It's because when you build up like the under drawing and there's so much glazing that goes on there, and I'll get these like warm acidy tones
Hmm.
in like some of the early stages, and then you bring even like a cheap green over top of it, because you have you get that layering of colors, and so it creates this kind of optical mixing, so it
Yeah.
just makes these cheap colors look that much more rich and vibrant.
Oh, wow. So you're using more of like a traditional, almost like a niche technique where you're glazing, you're layering, you're using a lot of
Yeah,
medium, and you're slowly bringing them to the fore, like
yeah, I'm
as
more of a
warm.
I'm more of a draftsman drawing guy. Like, so all the under drawing, all the tonal stuff. Oh, you froze. Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
oh, yeah.
You're good. All the tonal stuff is actually crayon.
Oh, wow.
I use like a grayscale Caran d'Ache crayon, so I just kind of draw it out that way, and start shaping the forms like that, and then the glazing is just bringing it to full chroma.
Wow. And I noticed you have an incredible ability for scumbling, like, passages of translucent skin. I remember, like, very acutely looking at it, and you have this like, are you scumbling it? Are you glazing
Yeah.
it? Yeah, you're taking
So
away?
so
Yeah.
my basic glazing process for the flesh is we'll start grayscale, then I do a teravert glaze over the whole of the flesh. I come in with the fleshy bits and use a vermilion for,
Mm,
like, around where the capillaries are closer to the surface of the skin, so ears, nose, fingertips, this whole thing. And then before I do the vermilion, I'll do like a burnt umber, just to warm up some of the shadows. Or I've been really liking this sepia extra
mm,
pigment. This deep sepia tone, and then then the vermilion, and then I come in and I do a flesh scumble, which probably is just like just two tones of flesh, like a slightly lighter one, and kind of do that all at one go. Then it's highlights and detail, and
mm.
it's done. So it's a pretty straightforward process with the flesh tones.
Yeah.
Uh, and then the more, like, fun colors is um, just skipping a couple steps or not doing the flesh scumble. Because, like, when I was like traveling in Italy and looking at a lot of older paintings, I specifically like the painters more northern Venetian school, where you have these
Mm.
great, especially some of those early egg temperas, with these great green undertones, and they'll use the vermilion in the flesh, and then
Oh, yeah.
and, and the crappier the flesh glaze on top of it, the better, because then you can see more of what they were doing in the underpainting, and you kind of like um, deconstruct the painting visually, and you start to, like, you're going there and you're looking under the hood, essentially,
Yeah.
and seeing how
Yeah.
you're retro engineering it.
But I noticed, like, by doing that, you're it's very contemporary, but at the same time, because you're keeping to a traditional style of painting, they come off as very austere and very, like, when you witness them, they do have sort of a pulling effect in a weird way. And the fact that you can work on a singular subject, but they have a theme, they have a distinct presence, but at the same time, like, you are painting, like, you are focusing on the actual traditional painting. And I feel like that's lost in contemporary like, what's your assessment of, like, contemporary, like, new figuration or whatever? Like, there's a lot of people in the contemporary art world
It's a
that
lot of
will turn.
projector stuff and, like, painful
Yeah.
numbers, and I just it's here's the tough thing is, sometimes the stuff is cool. I
Yeah.
forget what's her name. She does a lot of this kind of mother-based Romulus Remus paintings, and they're very gestural and kind of projector based. But she has a great way of handling
Cecily
work.
Brown or,
I can't remember. Crap. The thing is, I'm so shit with names of artists. It's like, once they're on my Instagram, I see it, and
yeah.
then the name is just, I know the artworks, I know the paintings, but that trend of kind of like, there's a lot of, like, hot girl doing vaguely figure paintings that aren't painted that well, and then
Mac Brim, that's a good
or
example
like
right
black figuration painting, where it's like, well, I mean, honestly, I saw some article the other day. They're talking about, like, the overinflation of, like, the black male figure painting market. It just kind of leading to, like, price drops on it because it was just overindulged.
Yeah, everyone
Um,
wants to be Kenda Wiley. Like,
yeah.
it's yeah, yeah. Like, they come off
Did he
as
get
very
out that
shiny.
did he get out that lawsuit where he was supposedly someone?
I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, like, but that's what I mean. Like, for example, the infamous, I don't know, depending on who you talk to, the Obama portrait. That was like, you know, I wrote about it in my forthcoming book.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
they're paintings that look really good on a digital camera.
yeah,
And then you see them in person, there's nothing there.
yeah, yeah. They come
It's
as
just
very
like,
shiny. Yeah,
yeah, but it's like, it's that very specific type of like digital photo reference painting
Mm,
that everything's blown out, like the highlights are all blown out, and it creates this kind of chrome effect on the skin. And I just find there's a lot of, how they talk about like Instagram face,
mhm, mhm.
people like getting contouring or plastic surgery because it's this little like fisheye effect on the camera. So they might look strange in real life, but pulls off well on like the phone. I saw some painting dude on like YouTube talking about like, you should paint for the camera for the Instagram. I'm like, it's a
Yeah,
physical, like in-person media. You want to reward the viewer who sees it in person. That's kind of like the magic of like the painting. Like, what can it do that other things can't?
yeah.
And like, be still is one of the things, and resonate and glow and react to light in whatever space it's in. Um, drives me mad. Like the in the contemporary figurative world, there's just so much like projection based, and there's nothing wrong with using a projector, but like
Yeah, or photos
fucking
or
hide
whatever,
it
real.
better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's what I mean. I think the a lot of your figures, they are in very dramatic chiaroscuro. Like they're very like you have a lot of black and copper backgrounds,
Hmm.
and they do have like I said, a physical presence to them that I feel like a lot of the more illustrative contemporary figure painters, they want like you obviously have a very clear theme and there's a lot of thought and care that goes into them, but I feel like to them it's like there's other considerations like you were saying besides the actual art object
Yeah,
that
and
you
I,
can yeah.
I I love when my paintings feel like totem poles or objects on themselves, like
Mhm.
icon painting can do. Where I'm not making a window into a scene. And maybe that's what kind of like makes it somewhat contemporary. I'm making the physical
Yeah.
thing. Like it's not a stand-in, it's not an illustration. I'm kind of like making a tulpa or a zero relief like sculpture. Like it
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
that object. And that's why I like working like slightly larger than life size on them, because then they feel more like they're really there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also your fascination with you paint on copper and the line work that you do with a lot of the drapery and a lot of like the clothing.
Mhm.
How like I remember uh
Tedious.
like my
It's my
GF had to
penance.
like prevent me from like touching it. She's like, don't touch it.
Oh, you could
Like
touch them. They were dry in time.
yeah, yeah. But how do you achieve that effect? Are you like
Ooh,
doing some kind of
it's
like
real
what's your
simple.
process? Yeah.
So I'm just taking the gilding size and putting an ink nib in it, and then
Mm,
putting the lines down like that, and then applying the copper, and just like Elmer's glue and glitter, it sticks where the stuff is and not where it isn't. Um, so yeah, so not really pan copper. It's just the copper you see is all the copper there is. There's not really any copper covered up in the
mm,
process.
I
So
see.
yeah, just kind of like drafting and laying it all out.
And you do have like a very like you're focusing on the weight of each line. Like that's very important. Like you were saying, almost like icon painting.
Mm.
So would that be like would iconography be one of your influences?
Oh, absolutely. My aunt paints them, or what they say, write an
Right.
icon. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, going to church, seeing them, and I don't know. I like about. I always like the kind of like weight of them, uh, the high symbolism of the different hand gestures, the kind of very. There's there's a seriousness to them that I think comes across from the creator's intent,
Yeah.
and it amazes me when a good painting can is like imbibed with like these the sensations of like when the artist was creating it, and
Mhm.
it becomes
Mhm.
more than the sum of its parts, and it starts to like feel weighty.
Yeah. yeah. But I noticed like some of I guess like I was trying to pinpoint like if I could see some like analogies to other artists, and like there's certainly like a lot of, let's say, Franz von Stuck,
which I'm
Silly.
deeply
Yeah.
embarrassed that I was only became aware of him, like earlier this year.
Mm,
I'm sure
yeah.
I'd seen his stuff,
Oh yeah.
around here and there, and then I'm doing a deep dive, and I'm like, I've been ripping this guy's compositions off for years and not even realizing it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was showing my wife this stuff, um, and she's like, "Oh my goodness, yeah, you didn't know this guy?" I'm like, "No, but he's a freaking genius." Like the expulsion composition, just the big spread, divide, huge empty space in between, or even the Sphinx one he did.
Yeah.
It's I, it, or the mother over the body of Christ, just this kind of
Hmm.
like laid prostate figure, and I'm just like, this guy, know,
Yeah.
he got it, and it's even like at the tones of his like later work, like these like deep reds and acidy greens and glowing blues. I'm like, okay, and yeah, I thought it was original.
Yeah. Yeah. That does remind me of the one work you did, As Above, So Below. I think that's one of
Yeah,
my favorites because you have this
I actually sold that
void.
to an MDE fan. Uh, Nick Rockford got like 3 paintings of mine, would have them in the background of his stream, was like chatting up my work, and some MD guy who was fan like saw on the stream, and he's here in Pittsburgh, and he owns like a head shop or something, and bought the work.
Oh my god. But that's like the figure looking down onto the skeleton, but there's this huge void, and there's people would look at it, they'd say, well, oh, there's not that much there, but there's a huge importance to that one.
Mhm.
Like that's like the fact that there is such a void.
There is
I mean,
6 feet of distance in between.
yeah, like literally 6 feet of
Yeah,
distance.
literally 6 feet.
Wow,
Um,
incredible.
and then like getting that gray area, I get this. It almost has the texture of like asphalt
Hmm.
because I'll coat it in shellac, and while it's still wet, I'll spritz it
Mm.
down with water, like a mister,
Oh
and
yeah.
because of the resist and the alcohol in the shellac, it creates this pitted texture. And then I
Mm.
basically scumbled in a graphite um, um, material, graphite paint I made from. I got this great, I mean, Kremer pigments. They
Mm.
have the best stuff. So, because you'll get like a graphite pigment and it looks too metallic or this that, but
Yeah.
their graphite pigment was just spot on. And then I did like a tea stain over it.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah,
And the fact that like the suggestion of the skeleton as well is like it's just it's perfect how it's very subtle. It's
yeah.
very like
I did this
you'd
H.
almost like miss it. Yeah.
Yeah, I did this. I did the skeleton in copper, and then used egg whites on it to patina it, and then came back in with just a burnt umber to like hit the shadows and give it a little more structure. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's that was a fun painting. My older paintings I look much kinder on now than I did after I make them. Most of my paintings feel like ex girlfriends. Like you're like a really formative abusive boyfriend. And then like one day you're painting, and the painting's like, "You seemed distant last night when you were painting me. Were you thinking about other paintings while you were painting me?" He's like, "No, baby, you're the only painting for me." And then the painting comes to you. It's like, "Where are these thumbnails I found in your sketchbook? You're already planning your next move for another painting." And then you know, eventually they find their forever home and go away. And then right after the breakup, you're like, I was over it. And the painting's like, then when you're older, man, you're like, you know what? I liked who I was at that time period. It wasn't going to last forever, but it's a
You
nice
go on
reminder.
Facebook and you
Yeah.
see it. And yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
I hope they're doing well.
Are you concerned with because you're combining like not like totally mixed media, but I guess with
Oh,
well,
with how
the
long they're
archival
holding it.
quality of it, yeah, the archival quality of it, yeah.
I think the only thing that really saves my ass on that is working on panel.
Mm,
So the potential
yeah,
for like cracking and expansion, this type of stuff, really goes out the window
yeah, yeah.
because I'm really abusive with that. My fat over lean things, I'll put acrylic over oil. I don't give a But you know, if it's fully dried, and because I'm using like very little paint in my stuff, like so basically I work from like cheap to expensive on my layers. So everything's like crap acrylic for blocking everything in, and then glaze this over top of that, and I'll throw like egg wash mixed with like tea for like a tarnishing effect over things, and then but that will soak up oil really well and really binds with egg nicely. You know, I'll use inks, I'll use dyes. The only thing I'm really worried about with like some of the inks I use on some of the layers is just UV, you know,
fugitive
on that.
pigments.
That's is, but I try to stay away from like, you know, lake pigments on that. Use like mineral based inks. Seems to be the same thing, but there's this like sepia ink that I just love, and I toss it into everything. I made an egg oil emulsion just so I could kind of make a pigment layer with the ink, so it can go over and with oil paint. No, the goos and glops, I'm a big fan.
The texture and the like, because me, I exclusively paint almost in acrylic, like 100%. Except for watercolor, but an ink, but and of course it's like a very forgiving medium in terms of the rules of it.
Oh yeah, it's plastic.
Pretty much.
I got one word for you: plastics.
Yeah, I probably have like a ton of like microplastics, like because just being on my hands all the time, like I've had like I'm so like fundamentalist about it.
As long as you're not like, you know, cleaning your hands with your sandwich, I think you'll be okay.
Yeah. Well, sometimes like
I mean, what I always tell myself is like, it could be worse. I could be the one producing these materials in the factory, and your exposure level to some of these things is much worse.
Yeah, true.
You know, but like I was teaching this one artist here. She's like very savvy with like social media stuff, because I don't. And also the tough thing with like any of the video stuff, and I'm just like, well, I'm gonna do like time lapse or talk to people, and like painting process is like slow enough, and like you know, there's more people watching people doing like, you know, they'll have a bucket of paint and they spin it onto the canvas. ASMR art. And I'm just like, God. Well,
you have to motivate yourself to film yourself painting too, is something I don't like either.
And it just like, and I'm like, I want to be listening to like an audio book while I'm painting. My phone's gonna be there. I gotta get a second phone to like film it on a time lapse while I'm doing it. I don't know. I'm gonna try to make an attempt to do something, because like, I don't know. I haven't found a gallery yet who's been really able to move my work better than I've been able to sell it myself. So it's, and I get it. Like the paintings are large, they're difficult, and it's like having a very ominous roommate hanging in your house all the time.
Yeah, people are not going to get it. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? The place I showed that moved more work than any other place I've shown was the Satanic Temple in Salem. I know.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah, like the worshiping abortion rights Satanic Temple.
Yeah, they kicked out Boyd Rice back in the day.
Well, no, that was the Church of Satan.
That was the Church of Satan. Oh, this is the Satanic Temple. This is the different.
But Church of Satan did not kick out Boyd Rice. It was him and Xena had a falling out, and they were with Michael Aquino. They were the Temple of Set.
Yes.
And then she got with what's his name from
Nicholas Schreck.
Yeah, from Radio Werewolf.
Yeah.
Who was in that band was in this essentially Police Academy knockoff movie called Mortuary School. I highly recommend. It's like Wolfman Jack's in it. There's a scene where so basically Radio Werewolf's in it. They die in a toy themed sports car. And all the like the schlocky humor in the movie is based around corpses, which makes it very like unnerving. I don't think they thought too much about it. But then Radio Werewolf plays a bar mitzvah.
Oh my god.
But they had died. But there's a savvy guy at the mortuary school, played by he's like the custodian, and the actor who plays the custodian in Repo Man. Uh,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
He was like, I don't drive because when you drive, you don't think. You're a passenger, you think. But he took the dead band and used animatronics on them to reanimate Radio Werewolf to perform for a bar mitzvah.
Oh my god. I think they got divorced, and I remember she was bashing him pretty hard
Yeah, he lives
in
on
the
a
Jordan
kibbutz in
Peterson.
Israel now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, he cut
I
off his ear. He's a strange fellow.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, we could go into more of the deep lore, but that's like kind of, yeah, that's hairy territory to say the least with Radio Werewolf and Nicholas Schreck.
And boy, I mean,
White Rice.
I was there was this period right after grad school where I essentially like nocturnal. I got deep into like the whole satanic panic thing. I'm listening to like old Bob Larson like radio
Yeah,
broadcasts,
yeah,
which
yeah.
they're fantastic.
They're amazing,
And the Boy Rice
incredible.
episodes are just radio gold. They play so well off of each other.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's stunning. I actually went and saw Bob Larson when I was living in New York. He was doing one of his deliverances there.
Wow.
And
Oh my god.
honestly, I've never seen a performance so good. The people coming up, it's better than improv. Like it makes improv theater look like schmuck. Because these are untrained people. They're coming up. My name is Luster. My name's Incest. And it's like,
Oh
oh,
man.
I'm just like, my goodness. The audience
Oh,
participation is the whole thing. And
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
like, this man is built for show business. This
Oh
is
yeah.
incredible. Like,
Oh man.
and like, how do you be able to handle that unpredictableness of like, you don't know what type of mentally unwell person is coming up on stage,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
but to
yeah.
pick up on the rhythm and the shtick of like, this is the process and we do these things. I'm like, but the only disappointing thing, the devil always has the same voice. I want something to like sound like the South Park. I was like, oh hi, yes, Bob, I'm the devil. Get out of here. What are you doing?
Well,
Oh, that
Saddam's
cross.
not treating me
Ouch.
well.
Stop
Yeah.
it. Don't do that. Or it starts talking like Tom Ford. It's like, oh, hi, Bob. No, I want some donuts. Like the old school, like kind of like
Very campy. Yeah,
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 no.
yeah.
I have a certain respect for a certain level. Like my bread and butter is gay men.
Yeah.
The disposable income, they like my stuff. They don't care if something's a bit austere and pretentious.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
it's yeah, so like I was saying, like the Satanic Temple is great for movement work. It's just like, where do I find the wealthy goths? I need like
Yeah.
someone who only does like interior decorating for like X like goth bands from like the 90s and 80s to like sell them paintings in their like California estates.
Oh man, that's great. Like that's I just remember like you mentioned Bob Larson, like
Oh
the
yeah.
infamous interview, you know the one where just like, yeah, look at him, he looks like a chicken farmer. He was a chicken farmer, Bob. Like it's
Are you
oh
talking
my
about was that
James Mason.
oh
Yeah,
I thought you were
yeah.
talking about Himmler.
No, no, they were talking about Himmler. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. He was a chicken farmer, Bob. That was he's a satanic demon.
Well, you'd have King Diamond on, although King Diamond was
Yeah.
pretty stupid compared to Bob, or at least the interviews weren't as entertaining.
Yeah, yeah, and I believe he formed a lasting friendship with Boyd Rice
Yeah,
after
I don't know if did
Bob
you
Larson,
see
yeah.
that like ridiculously indulgent like 4 hour doc on it's called Iconoclast.
I think I saw bits and pieces of it, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then they get like Bob Larson like talking to him in his office, and Boyd's like, I think I believe in reincarnation. And he's like, oh well, that's a belief structure or something. I think we can win you over yet. But my
Yeah.
favorite is like my favorite one that interviews. he's like, no, maybe someday I'll take you to this tiki bar and we'll have a drink. He's like, make mine a Perrier. Bob Larson doesn't drink. That just makes me think of like the scene in Heathers where they pull out the two Perriers for the football guys. Is like, they were gay.
Like when he did the exhibition.
Yeah, well, he sent me a flyer, like one of these beautiful silk screen flyers from that. I bought a couple things from Stout. He's a really groovy dude. I like him a lot. But yeah, I bought some charcoal drawings of him that are just something. And he was helping Fenn out there with that big sculpture that's going down when the Carolinas.
Yes. Yeah.
Sower. That looks really promising and cool. I'm like, who's this real estate developer? How do you get? What's this hookup? It's interesting.
I don't know. It's someone that approached Fenn, who liked his work, and like Fenn's done a lot of like very big projects, and Matthew's helping him out for a few of them.
I feel like all us right wing artists just need to grow mustaches and all have the same haircut and just look like me and Fenn. Right? It's like I showed my wife a picture of him. And it's like, is there just like a phenotype for like right wing artists? Slightly receding hairline.
Oh man, yeah, certainly.
High cheekbones and mustaches.
Oh man, but yeah, I would have made different choices, but at the same time, it's like you have to have the fortitude to actually like go out there and do something because New York especially,
anyone can be a critic. I agree.
Yeah, but you are right. Like there is a lot to like in terms of the vision. You know what I mean? Like I think futurism is sort of like there's. What's funny though is that I said this in another recording, and it's an art critic I actually do read and respect quite a bit. Dean Kissick, where he said like even the futurists are looking to the past, which is true. I mean.
Like they really should advertise these kind of events as like dating mixers, really.
Yeah.
You too can have the
e-girls, yeah.
Well, you too can have a fashionable fascist boyfriend. It'll go great with your copy of Persona, and you can accessorize with your with your right-wing boyfriend.
Yeah, you could read some Lacan when he's, reading some, Evola PDFs.
No, I always think Sam Hyde's correct. It's like, you don't want a right-wing girlfriend. You need like just like a normal enough, like center-left girl who had a right-wing father and is okay and used to it.
Yeah, right-wing is like Bill O'Reilly in the context. Yeah.
Yeah, like my father-in-law, great guy. Like, love the guy. He's Fox News conservative, and what can you expect from a boomer? I mean, his saving grace was Tucker, but he's not going to be watching like X to see the new Tucker clips or anything like that.
Yeah.
So he's a great dude. No, great guy, and he was just like, we hit it off when we first met because he's like, you send your daughter to RISD and art to school. And then she finds the one right-wing guy and brings him home. It's like, you raised your daughter right. She's a great gal.
Oh man. Well, that's a good transition to like.
My wife always jokes. She's like, it could be worse. You could like watch sports and play video games. If
I
have to hear you go on a rant about like
the Penguins
or just like the week. My mother always complained with my father. It's like half the weekend is gone because the Steelers are on. And I don't play video games. I'm doing that, but like my sports entertainment is like politics. I follow that stuff. I love it. It's fun. The point, like like Monday morning, like coach. I'm just like, and this, if the Democrats had any sense, this is how they could actually do it if they wanted to. Yeah, but they're not going to do it because they're idiots.
My only indulgence is being like a.
So every now and then she has to hear
Maple Leafs fan. That's like my only sports ball indulgence. Yeah.
Oh no, it's fine. And also don't call it sports ball. That's too much of a Reddit term.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Actually, just enjoy it. I as like a young art student kid, I was home and I was off my own supply of self-importance, and my dad's watching the Steelers. And like, can you believe these footballers make more money than some doctors? What a prick I was. What an asshole kid.
Yeah, you grew up and you realize like that's sort of like the worst thing after.
No, my dad put it best. He's like, you know what? I like watching this. This is fun. This is also what's sending you to school, is me working and enjoying this. How about you shut the fuck up, be grateful, and sit here with your dad and watch the Steelers game?
Yeah.
Like, you know what? That's a good point.
Yeah. No, same with like, I mean, it's not enjoyable to watch the Leafs choke every playoff, but you know, it is what it is. But
well, I mean, how do you feel about the Penguins?
Okay, oh my God, we're going there. Okay, so the Penguins are in a terrible drought. They've acquired a manager that used to run.
I mean, they've had eras. They've had eras.
Yes, they've had incredible eras. Crosby is getting old. Malkin's getting old. They've got rid of.
Fantastic. I'm a huge fan of Malkin.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. They like obviously like they don't have as much heft as they did back in the day, like when they had guys like Darius Kasparaitis, you know, knocking people over.
No, and I no authority to even speak on it well. I get all the knowledge secondhand from my friend who's a huge hockey head and watches all the time, and does closed captioning for a job.
Oh man, like so the manager of the Leafs, Kyle Dubas, he actually went to my alumni, and he like just made a series of strategic blunders in terms of like real hockey, and unfortunately, like, you know, he's made a lot of terrible decisions. Like they recently got rid of their head coach, Mike Sullivan, because Mike Sullivan needs like a very like young, fast core, and Pittsburgh is not young and not as fast as previous years.
No,
but I mean they're in a rebuild, man. Like it's going to take.
Their goaltending aren't we all in a transitionary period right now?
Exactly. Yeah. And so,
so you have an American girlfriend. Would you ever, be a horrible immigrant?
I was thinking about it, like maybe, like the thing
You're not thinking to boot it.
Like I wouldn't see myself like leaving Canada fully, but I mean, my parents are getting older, and so
they need you around.
They need me around, and
hey,
like maybe
family comes first, man.
Yeah, like maybe like Western New York or something like that, like something very.
Just go to Buffalo.
Yeah.
I fucking love Buffalo.
Buffalo's great. Yeah,
Buffalo is a slept-on town. The real estate is booming in Buffalo. It's insane.
Yeah.
My wife is a toy designer, and Fisher-Price is based out of Buffalo.
Oh, wow.
And she interviewed for a job there, but they demand that you relocate. There's like this little town outside Buffalo where they film a lot of Hallmark movies that like Fisher-Price is based out of. It's hilarious. It's like we have my grandparents' old place up at Lake Chautauqua. So it's like if she worked remotely, you know, if she needs to be there like even just once a week, we go up to the lake house and drive in to Buffalo. It's just like an hour commute from Chautauqua. You know, it's reasonable for some meetings, but they're hard pressed, and they run that compound like Fort Knox. It's insane. It's like no toy secrets are getting out of here.
Oh my man!
Which is funny to think about, like cutthroat toy industry. It's like no, this is ours. No one's gonna get this.
Well, that's what I mean. You have such an iconic brand, and it's like you have to like protect it. It's like, but with good thing about Buffalo, like
no one else is gonna figure out how our weebles wobble but don't fall down.
It's fun. Like when I was a kid, I remember like my parents would hide the Christmas flyer for Sears that had in the Toys R Us flyer.
Oh, so you don't start circling things?
Yeah. Like I had the Corey Soilenial experience.
God.
Oh man.
I'm thinking of like, so we lived out in the country. So we didn't have cable until I was like in high school. We didn't have internet for a long time. We had dial-up forever. So the most erotic thing was like, for me, was like the Sears underwear ads. Or my parents were big LL Bean, Land's End people.
Oh yeah.
And Land's End did like a underwear line for a short period of time. So it's just like, I think this is why I always had a predilection for MILFs, because it's just like well-toned middle-aged women with gray streaks in full coverage underwear.
I can relate, definitely. I can relate. Oh man, we got sidetracked.
We should probably get back to art at some point.
Yes,
Boyd Rice, Lands End MILFs, hockey.
Oh man, yeah. But it's unfortunate like that.
Or you might not have to immigrate. Canada might just become part of the U.S.
Well, maybe you never know. I
No,
mean,
probably
it's just
not.
it's not
If
gonna
anything,
happen.
like it would be Alberta at most.
Yeah, I mean, well, there is
Hey,
like
they've
a
done it
massive
before in the
separatist
past.
movement. Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, except for the Quebecois. I mean, they just want to be their own thing. There's like, of what industry and what GDP would you actually stand alone on this?
uh, it's funny. Like for as much gripe as we give them in Anglophone Canada, like there is something to be admired about the Quebecois and their focus on their identity, even if it is like
I
just
will
a
say,
language. Yeah.
beautiful city. It
Oh yeah.
reminds me a lot of Pittsburgh, actually. Just like
Oh yeah.
maybe because they have that big hill and this gorgeous park on it. When I was there, though, and I was staying in hostel, all I met was like old pinko commies.
Yeah, Montreal has a lot of that. I
That
mean,
and
that's
then every antique store is just like huge section.
yeah, yeah.
I got thrown out Fufu Electrique when I was there. That was my highlight of my trip.
Yeah, they do like it's very similar to France in that they do have like a very schizophrenic approach to ideology. They're very like
Yeah,
open
like
about it. Yeah, yeah,
very on the francophone kind of like identitarian, Macron kind of vibes. But then
yeah,
also on the mirror end of it is like everyone's an extremist. They're either a communist or a fascist,
yeah, yeah,
which feels very French. I've never been to France. Unfortunately, I like the Italian painters, and although these days it's just like every painter or like someone will come up on the feed or I'll see artwork. And I'm like, oh, I love this. What is it? Of course, it's some like Austrian symbolist or secessionist school. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
My father when he was in school, his good buddy as fraternity was this guy named Mickey Bokel, and his grandfather was Austrian secessionist painter, hanging out with
Oh
like
wow.
Klimt and Sheely and stuff. But his grandfather never called Sheely Sheely. He always called him the Prefer. I met him once, and he goes, "You look like the Prefer."
Oh man, like I'm a huge fan of the Vienna Secession, and
Oh, absolutely, it's
yeah,
killer. And
yeah,
like that was it's one of those things where like when I was in art school, it was like the low hanging fruit of like if I'm at an airport, someone's gonna say like, "Hey, you look like Freddie Mercury," and my response is always, "My teeth are way better." Um, in art school is like, oh, "Do you like Klimt?" I'm like, "No, who's he?" Of course, I like Klimt. Who doesn't like Klimt?
yeah,
But there are so many other people though, especially in the symbolist school, or that. And I also despise this narrative of like the very nice, clean narrative to abstraction, where it's like from representation, which is for art idiots apparently, and then towards abstraction and impressionism, and it's like and they reference Gauguin, but like Gauguin was just not as skilled of a painter who was a symbolist, so he got looped in with the impressionists. Um,
yeah.
but to leave out, this to make for the sake of the narrative they want to tell, the move to pure abstraction is you're leaving out the pre-Raphaelites, you're leaving out the
Mhm,
symbolists,
mm,
you're leaving out the secessionists, you're leaving out the golden age of illustration.
yeah.
Um, it's just not that simple and clean there. It's like I was listening to this interview today. You remember that guy who used to do like the pharmacology like shit for Vice, like skinny no dude.
Oh, yeah, 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 I think I
But he
remember
was
this.
talking about when he worked for like National Geographic, and the bigger idea is like you needed to write like essentially a script and a narrative for the documentary you're doing, and then essentially put the questions in such a way to get the answers you want. So it's not a documentary at all. You're using real footage for a completely
Polemical, not even polemical, yeah, propagandistic.
the endpoint takeaway that you want. This is not going in with a camera and seeing where it takes you. This is not gonzo journalism or anything like
Yeah,
this. This is
yeah,
we're telling one story, and regardless of what feedback we get, we have to produce this story. And
yeah,
I'm just like, you know what? I'm not shocked that's the way it works, and that makes total sense.
yeah, yeah. Well, Gauguin was a huge influence on me, like, I mean, especially
Mm,
with woodcuts and
I
everything.
can see that in your
Son of
work.
Monk, yeah, yeah.
Well,
But like you
I
no,
still
go
I
ahead,
think
go
one of the
ahead.
best titles ever made for this one painting of like all the people on the island. Who are we? Where are we going? Or something like this.
Oh, I think I know what's the one you're talking about.
Who are,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And that trend of like people going native, or like everyone also forgets about like Mark Twain's like Hawaiian years, where he's like
Yeah.
living out Hawaii and probably banging some Samoan native broads.
Well, same here with like the group of seven, because like, or Jason's group of seven, like Emily Carr, like
Oh, Jason
nowadays
the
they,
Argonauts.
yeah, yeah, like they sort of of course nowadays like it's framed in the language of like cultural appropriation, and so her work is like being yeah, I know, it's like, so her work is devalued, but she lived
Yeah,
like on a
using indoor
reservation.
plumbing is cultural appropriation.
Yeah, and she like lived next to a reservation most of her life, and so
Well, you know what
she
my
was aware of it. Yeah.
every now and then you're like in these art events and some white people don't have culture. I'm like, do you know that great like kind of 2-panel comic book meme of like these two fishes swimming in the water and another fish swims by them? It's like, water's nice today, and passes, and one fish says the other fish is water.
Yeah, yeah, you don't
And
really know.
that's what I say to them about white culture. Is like it's literally ubiquitous and all around you all the time. Um, so much so that you don't notice it.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
but
no novelty to it outside of like when you live in the West.
there, yeah, because there's such like a totalization of the culture industry that yeah, you
Mhm.
don't even notice it, and but also like I mean, but you personally though, I mean, you're dealing with a lot of uh you know, European subject matter, let's say, and you're working on that tradition.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely. I mean,
are you
although I will
consciously
say
aware of
I'm
it,
a
or yeah,
fan
go
of
ahead.
African fetish objects.
Yeah.
Hugely big fan of. I mean, Egyptian work is killer.
Yeah.
I love how they don't like empty space. Like the sculpture, there's this solid like tomb-like quality, or like Rodin has some comment about the Egyptians. I forget it now, but this kind of ever-present,
Mhm.
eternal stillness. It's it's like in some Aleister Crowley deep recesses of my brain. It just kind of holds as like the forever plane.
Mhm.
And I think there are some spaces and things that feel like this. Like I think mausoleums feel like this. I think really good old stone structures feel like this. I like things that feel like they're reaching out from the underworld and are kind of like an ever-present, cold, still place. And a lot of my work. That's the funny thing with like, God, I'm dealing with this gallery right now. They had me write up, because like collectors, I guess, like to hear these things. They want to know what the artist was thinking and stuff. I'm just like, well,
Yeah.
you're removing all the fun. And it's like, no, if I'm not a writer, I've written things before. I did. Right, Nationalist had nice things to say about this. I wrote up for him for Man's World magazine. But it can function on vibes. It's a
Yeah. Yeah.
non-verbal. If I knew how to describe it well in words, I'd be a writer. I'm
Right.
not a writer. I am an artist who function as shaman. I pull up things from the underworld and make them physical. And then why? It's like, because if I didn't do it, someone else was going to do it. And I
Mhm.
wanted to do it myself.
Yeah, it's the job of the critic actually to come after the fact and sort of and write about it. Like I
And we
noticed,
need better
yeah.
critics.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Uh,
I mean, the critic is essentially dead. You read,
mm,
it's been replaced by essentially like your,
media influencer.
well, there's media influencer, but they're hardly on art. It's essentially like in-house writers for like your blue chip galleries are doing
Yeah.
this thing. And I don't know. It's like, how do you get people to like give a fuck about painting or art? Well, you don't do it for years and decades of, resenting the viewer, shoving it in their face, and telling them they're for not getting it.
Yeah.
Well, God willing, what we need is, and I think Fenn spoke to this, several times. We need public work that doesn't treat people like, that isn't just some like, well, we got these artists to do this public work about why this neighborhood is racist, and we got the whole community care shelter to come and hand paint this thing in a community garden, and it looks like hippie artwork. You need confident, beautiful things to make people excited about the place they live in.
Yeah.
When my mother was on the school board, and now luckily she fought to not defund the arts, but like it's also like that, like young kids can use charcoal, young kids can draw from observation. Why it's getting defunded? Because you're making macaroni art and you're having these kids do bull projects. No, you can start with, and the sheer benefits of like learning how to see, learning how to witness things objectively, the hand-eye coordination, this, anyone can pick this up. If anything, a little bit of talent is a curse when it comes to this. When I've had students before, the non-art major students are so much easier to teach because they're like, well, I'm not an artist. I'm not good at art. I have no thing of this. I'll listen to whatever you said. They're way more malleable. But through this, it's like you have someone a little bit talented. Part of their identity is tied like, I'm good at art.
Yeah.
I need to make a good looking drawing every time. No. You need to make a bunch of drawings.
Yeah.
To get anywhere close to being good or improving. A person who thinks they're, I can't even draw a stick figure thing. Great. You don't have to draw any stick figures. We're not doing that. Trust me on this. You're gonna get there. I feel like teaching art is like teaching a sport. Going through the rudimental stuff. This is hand-eye training. We're gonna be doing 10-second gestures. I think the gesture drawing is the core of all drawing. 10 seconds. You don't even have time to think. React. This is training yourself. You're doing 1,000 layups, so when you have to do it game day, it's muscle memory. You're not thinking.
Right.
Erin, my wife calls it like drawing zone, Zack. When I'm in like rendering zone, I become nonverbal. I forget what time it is. I don't eat. I just But you're not thinking, or like I don't think when I'm rendering. This is light, dark, but I don't even think light, dark. It just moves. It does this way. You do it a million times so that when it comes time to do it, you turn on the zone. And getting in that flow state, getting in that zone, that's the thing. You do all the pre-training with art, so when it comes to like game day, you're not thinking at all. You are a reacting animal. This is your nature. This is your training. You don't teach a bird how to build a nest.
Right.
This is what you do. Because if you start thinking about it, then you're going to get up.
That's like, I have a very similar approach to plein air painting. Like, there are people that will, like, especially
Do you like a Sargent fan?
Well, yeah, Sargent, but
I mean, hey, he can do things that I can't do. So much of like my early like painting teaching was like that British school.
Oh yeah.
You take your color match, you put down the mark, you do this, and he does it, makes it look so effortless. Although he probably made that mark like 15 times and wiped out several of them until it
Yeah.
really hit.
No, he would like scrape off the face and everything, and like he
Yeah.
would do it all over again.
Oh, he has an
Yeah.
uncanny ability to make these single strokes look so effortless and so
Mhm.
perfect.
Mhm.
Um, Guy was talented. There's no way
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah.
The way I work is very process based. If I get the drawing, it's like Maxfield Parrish.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now, he was essentially Photoshop before there was Photoshop. He's doing CNYK color development on these through the glazing layer and if you notice in all of his works, there's no shadows because he's piecing from photo reference figures together and doing the whole
Yeah.
thing. There's
Yeah.
this, if you ever get a chance, in Newport, Rhode Island, there's this gorgeous mansion designed by the same like architecture firm that did Central Park in New York.
Mm.
But it's the American Illustration Museum. And oddly enough, the majority of the work is owned by Whoopi Goldberg. She's a huge
Wow.
collector of like golden age illustration. But it's like Line
Line
Decker,
Decker, yeah, yeah.
Maxwell. But I love Line Decker.
Mm.
It's fantastic. We want to talk about like masculine, like beauty and pinup. Yeah, it takes like Line Decker to like do it like that. It's killer. Like so much so that there's like fan letters to like the Arrow shirt color man. Like, who is this? And it's like, no, it's his lover.
Yeah, yeah.
Ladies, calm down. He's
But
not
the way that he
interested.
navigates like light and dark as well, like
Mhm,
the sort of color matching there.
mhm.
But that's what I
Well,
mean.
then
Like,
also pay, but
yeah,
he was also paying for print. The
yeah,
way he
yeah.
cuts in, I just even like the like how he angles the white backgrounds, and it's like a triangle shape here, it's a square shape here. Wasp aesthetic, hardcore. But his downfall was the Great Depression.
Mhm,
People didn't
mhm.
want to see this kind of opulence in the same way during that, and that was
Yeah, then the regionalists became very popular, like Grant Wood,
yeah.
and yeah,
And then who
yeah,
took over Saturday Evening Post after him was Corn
Rockwell.
Cob, yeah, Rockwell,
Yeah, yeah. I have a whole
who I
thing
always
about
loved
Rockwell,
too.
yeah. Well, I never liked Rockwell because I mean,
Really, he's charming. I like him the way I like you
but
know.
there's subversiveness there. That's the thing. Like
Well,
there's
wait,
yeah,
later on, his kind
yeah,
of more everyman pseudo Roosevelt commie nonsense. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. But you're right. You're right. There is like I guess like I think the problem with Rockwell is that Rockwell serves as sort of like a palliative of Americana that just never is going to come back. And I think boomers like really love that as like a thing of
yeah.
a
I mean, you look at
tradition.
like Reader's
Yeah.
Digest. It's like all Norman Rockwell knockoff stuff, but also Reader's Digest is a CIA
Yeah.
shell corporation. We all know that. This is well
Yeah.
covered territory. That's
Yeah.
why they
Yeah.
sell in the big text so the old people can read and be okay with paying their taxes.
Yeah. No, but like what you were saying about the sort of immediacy of it is the way that, for example, I approach like the plein air tradition because apart from like the concern of like, okay, I have my umbrella, I have my bug spray from my boots, because
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Lyme disease.
I'm out here in
Uh
nature.
yeah. But you don't really like I'm sitting there and I'm not really like you're going through the principles in your head of
No,
light and
it's
dark and
prayer. It's
composition.
meditation. It
Exactly. Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I have a buddy, and unfortunately, he's born again, and there's nothing I can do to help him out with that.
Mhm.
But he's convinced I'm of the devil because I'm Catholic. I
Yeah.
in high school, I tried to date this born again girl who was father was like the minister of this joint. Well, I'll put it this way: born again in some ways is still at least a little better than your like contemporary like Methodist churches where it's like, so do you worship Jesus or do you worship homeless and black people? Because from their signage
Yeah,
outside, I
exactly.
can't
It's like
tell.
which one? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just like BLM flags and like pride flags. I'm like, who do you worship here? Um,
Yeah.
there's this black artist here in Pittsburgh. He's a Yalie, but relocated to Pittsburgh because it could just kind of suck up all the public funding. But he talks about like he does black queer art, and he's talking about the only creative person on the planet are black queer individuals. And I'm like,
Oh man. Yeah.
okay. So naturally, the first time I'm hanging out and talking with him, I'm like, well, I'm a product of Yakub.
You hit him right away with the Yakub, yeah.
The funny thing is, this one bar I go to, Mardi Gras. great old carpeted smoking bar from like hasn't been updated since like 1965. Love it, love it. Cigarette machine, ugly paintings on the wall, green leather, carpet everywhere, cigar ash on the rug. Love this place. There's a huge population of like 5%ers that hang out there.
Oh wow. Oh
Nation of Islam. So I'm driving. They got great names. So I'm driving home. This cat, Wise, and his lady friend Lioness, and their friend Worm. And she's like, Zack, you're one of the only white boys I don't want. I'm like, that's nice of you too. Is that because I'm giving you a ride or because you like me?
Oh man,
I said,
funny.
What I said to them was like,
Oh my god. Oh, this is going under the paywall.
oh, it's not bad. They're fun people.
I remember one of the first times I ever went to Pittsburgh. I was walking and there was these Black Hebrew Israelites.
Oh yeah, downtown. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we were going to the Carnegie.
Well,
And it was
have you seen the meme where it's like, okay, are we the real Native Americans, or are we the real Egyptians, or are we the real did we build Stonehenge? Like, make up your mind.
That's right. Yeah, there was.
We was all the Kangs.
And some guy was like debating them. I'm like, I wanted to like
pull
his face. I'm like, what are you doing?
There's no way, because the standard structure of the Hebrew Israelites, they've got the guy who's pulling up the passages in the Bible.
Yeah.
King James, of course. They don't use any other version. Because King James was black. He'd have to be. But my favorite thing is like the people they reach for is like Tom Jones, black.
Yeah.
But you know what it really shows to me? I think there's a lot of cross-race love with the Black Israelites, because if there's a white person they claim is black, they mean they really love it.
Yeah, Shakespeare is black.
I've gone down the rabbit hole. Some of my favorite videos on YouTube are like black people react to like white music.
Black people react to Deftones. Yeah.
Oh no, I love that. Honestly, it makes me feel a certain 1990s certain way.
Yeah, like the James Lindsay, like it was better in the night. Yeah, sort of deal.
Well, what's his name? He was a Nation of Islam like bow tied guy, and now he does more of the Thugger say.
Louis Farrakhan?
No, not. I mean, it used to take a lot of Greyhound buses and mega buses back and forth from Pittsburgh to New York. You meet a lot of Nation of Islam dudes on those bus rides.
Oh man!
Oh, you do.
Really? Oh man!
If all of the black community were this Nation of Islam and they hate white people, whatever. Nation of Islam people are groovy. I dig them. There's a certain structure and responsibility, and like the men are of a much higher quality. They essentially, like, if I could say, like, Nation of Islam is Ayn Rand for black people.
Yeah, it's like objectivism for black people.
No, truly. And I hang out with them at like the bar, and like, they're like, "White boy, you know about Yakub?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, the big head scientist. Come on, let's get into it."
My favorite edit was from my good friend Beyond Woke and Problematic, where it was like, he had this song. He's like, "I am a scientist," and it's like Yakub with like, and like, yeah. Oh my god. But that's interesting. You say that. To transition back to your.
I'll put it this way.
Yeah, go ahead.
Black people are racist black people.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Like I remember one time my previous show I did, we interviewed Hotep Jesus. That was quite an experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
I mean, the Hoteps, I know less about the Hotep movement, but it feels like amalgamation of like Israelite and true Egyptian with Farrakhan. Those in it. But I was thinking about the guy before. He's like, who's talking about black Americans. He goes, "What you don't realize is white people are the only ones who like us. No one else likes us. The immigrants come in, they don't like us. Hey guys, no, the Asians, the Indians, no, they hate us. Even though the black immigrants can't stand us. The
The
white man's our
FBA's
only friend.
the foundational Black Americans.
God, you
Yeah,
want to meet some of the most racist people you ever meet in your life? Talk to your friends' parents who are black immigrants.
yeah, it's
They
true.
gave me new terms I'd never heard before. I'm just
No,
like,
it's true. Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
like blown away.
Oh man, but
My
yeah.
Instagram algorithm thinks I'm a Jewish lesbian. Um, this is all I get is like things about being, it's tough being a lesbian mother, and also and this type of stuff. I don't think Instagram has figured out the artistic horny artist algorithm who's right wing. So all I get is like kind of like butch lesbian content. It's like, well, you like butts clearly, and but you're really really gay and everything else.
It's getting there though. Like they got those that one account called YouTubers where it's like the Floyd edits,
Well,
George
one of my
Droid.
favorite
Yeah, yeah.
Instagram channels is like old men from New York. Well, I had to
Old men
explain to
from
my
New York.
like deeply Italian friends, like, you know, you're you're essentially genetically identical to you're just landed, and the rest of them went to Byzantium with the rest of the Roman Empire. But it's like famously the gold chain races, and I'm one of these dirty Hungarians. I can speak of my people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, actually, um, I have an old Roman coin here, Romulus Serenus on this side.
Oh wow.
And then, yeah, and on the other side, it is Constantine. And then a little
Oh,
gold
nice.
hand.
Oh, you have the hand?
Yeah, well, me and my
Wow.
wife, we got a thing for hands. So we made a crest for our stuff, and it's two severed. It's a combination of like the Victorian, like elegant hand
Hmm.
and the Tibetan, like severed death hand.
Oh
And they're
wow.
they're a mirror image of each other flipped, collaborating to form a circle. And then our wedding like invites, we did the wax stamp on it, and it's the same hands doing a pinky promise with each other.
No,
Well,
that's great.
when we
Yeah.
got married, she was like, I think it would be nice if we wrote our own vows. I'm like, you don't want me to write our own vows? She goes, why not? I go, because my vows would be, I told you so. We've been together for 15 years. We've been married for 3 years. Um, Probably about a month. This is not dating advice, but about like a week into dating, I told her I loved her and I was going to marry her. She goes, "You're crazy." I'm
Wow.
like, "No, this is going to happen." Like I said in the beginning of this podcast, once I make up my mind about something, I stick with it. Um, and I only married her out of spite, just to prove I was correct.
Oh, that's you met in art school? Or
Hmm.
yeah.
She was much smarter. She did design.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, the toy making and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Wow, that's crazy. I just have
She's
my
actually making me a proper American. At least my kids can have right to like Mayflower origins and
Oh, so she's like a original like
old
heritage
stock. Old
American.
stock. Her General Knowlton fought in the Revolutionary War. This whole thing.
Wow.
Where my family is from father's side is like German Austrian hillbillies from Western Pennsylvania down on the West Virginia border. Moonshiners,
Yeah.
the whole thing. My mother's side, Austrian and Hungarian immigrants around like World War One era. My grandfather on that side actually lied about his age. It's when he was 16 to get into the Air Force, and by the time they figured it out, he was already 18. They're like, "Okay, well, we already trained you, so now you're going to do like bombing raids over Germany." He
Oh
was a
man.
navigator on a B-24.
So it makes like Pittsburgh does make sense because they have like quite a few of the, Slavic and like
Quite a
Eastern
few.
European. Yeah.
I'll put it this way: Pittsburgh's the only American city where the Eastern European population outnumbers the Italians and Irish.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
It would be true in Cleveland if 45% of the population wasn't black.
Mhm. Mm.
Um, but yeah, Ohio has a lot of this. Buffalo,
Oh, yeah.
Chicago has a huge Polish population, but they also have a huge Italian population.
Yeah. Yeah.
They do case meats well, but we do pierogies better. You want some
Yeah.
halushki? Come over. No, I forget who was ranting to a couple evenings ago. Like, no, yeah, you could have an Asian wife, or you could do the same thing and have a Slavic wife, but they're still going to berate you. Do yourself a favor. Well, my wife says I have an Ellis Island fetish. If a girl shows up with like a bag of potatoes and babushka, I'm gonna melt. Aaron's father's side, well, I guess they were Canadian originally. They had to flee Canada. I think they were horse thieves, which I
Mm.
believe is punishable by death at the time. I know in Pennsylvania, horse thievery was punishable by death because you're
Yeah.
taking a person's livelihood. In that, but Massachusetts, they ran a bakery in Boston forever, had a small fortune, and then father passed. Stepfather took it over and ran it into the ground. So Grandma Mary, very bougie, had sophisticated taste, so just didn't have the money to back it up. Like the kind of old money thing, even though we're broke, but we must live a certain way.
Yeah, the sort of aging aristocrat that
Mm-hmm.
the better years have been behind. Yeah, wow.
And
Man.
me, I'm just a dirty slob trying to put on airs. I'm like, yes, I'll get the secondhand discount linen off of eBay and lowball them on the offers for like my custom suit stuff. I've been mourning recently though. My old Italian tailor just passed last
Oh
weekend.
no.
I know.
Wow.
I trusted him with my garments. Finding a tailor is like anymore. I'm gonna have to go back to my mother to do these alterations for me.
Yeah,
She
no,
was
but yeah, you can't find a really good tailor anymore. It's sort of like late. Yeah.
if anything, we need to bring in some Italians again, just to have some of this, or like hell, like the right type of Asian can do it very well too. I mean, half of these like made to measure things are made over in Asia.
Yeah, Hong Kong is a big place. Yeah.
Hong Kong is good. Well, they also had a British tradition there. Of,
Hmm. Hmm.
I also like how in Japan, like the word for like suit is like some bastardization version of saying Savile Row. It's like Savile Row. I go to this like punk dive bar. The owner is this delightful right wing monster. He's fantastic, but he caters to like trend punks and stuff like this. But he's one of these like open dialogue free marketplace thing. Like the jukebox is a fixed jukebox with all these like burnt CDs on it and stuff. It's like socialism is evil, and there's still like anti-Obama like mixtapes on there. But everyone there is like some diehard like anarcho syndicalist or some shit
Inner
like that.
Kitty, yeah,
Yeah,
living in the
yeah,
squat. Yeah.
yeah. And they're like half the people are clientele are trans, and then it's just like got them out of a lot of like hot water because they're like
Average Death in June concert right there.
truly my good friend. He runs a gay guy. Well, he's getting more pussy than he's ever had before. He's with a trans man now. They just got married, but he runs local like public radio broadcast thing, and he's a huge Death and Jew fan.
Oh yeah, yeah, me too.
And he went to the concert here like years ago, the last time they came to Pittsburgh, and like he had friends who were like protesting outside. He's like, and he's seeing them. They're like, "Are you here for the protest?" He's like, "No, I'm here for the concert." He's like,
Yeah,
they're not like these, right? They're singing about like this like magnum gothic opera about the terrors of war and the beautiful young men that they're
yeah.
sad that are dying. Um, you should come into the show. And you bought him a ticket, and he came in. He's like, you know what, this is actually really good.
Oh man. Well, that yeah, like for like songs like
But
"Death Is the Rare
only in
Beauty."
Pittsburgh can you
Yeah,
have a because Pittsburgh's a city, but it's a small
yeah.
town.
It
Everyone
is.
knows
Yeah,
everyone here,
yeah.
and this is part of the thing that's allowed me to live like kind of like out and proud as like the type of person I am. They're like, oh, that's Zack.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
know
No.
him. We've been to his house. He'll make you a good cocktail. Um, leave after like 3 or 4 drinks in, because then they'll start on some like right-wing nonsense. But Zach's not like, Zach hangs out with racists, but most of the racists he hangs out with are black.
Well, that's funny. Like Pittsburgh, you have like a large Antifa contingent, but like the majority of people that
They're
have been on TR,
retarded. I know
yeah,
some of these Antifa people.
yeah.
What I mean by idiots is I know them and they're friends with me. They're like, well, yeah, but Zach, you're one of the good.
No, but that's what I mean. Like you have like a large Antifa contingent, but you also have like they're
Pittsburgh's a
protesting.
weird
Yeah,
like hotbed of esoteric communities. Like
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
huge chapter of the Golden Dawn here, like the Golden Thread that's here. One of the staple seats of the Jungian school
That's
is
right. They
here.
have a huge one. Yeah,
The
yeah. Young
right,
Institute.
and you know what's right next to the Jungian school here? Who I almost went to, the guy who runs it. He was a member of this esoteric branch of this Masonic lodge that I was like flirting with for a bit. But then,
Mm.
like, I have one rule of thumb: I don't take advice from people I wouldn't trade places with. And everyone, there were
Oh,
some young cats that were cool. They were into like powwow, old Germanic like folk magic, and like there's this gay dude in the group that I hit off with, and I was talking to him about like Ezra Pound and Vola, and he's like, "Oh shit, let's hang out and talk." And like, he's like, "I don't want kids, but I'd like to be a good mentor." So he did the foster kid thing,
mm,
one of the non-abusing ones, as far
yeah.
as I know. Groovy dude. He ended up joining. They demanded me to renounce Catholicism.
Yeah, well, Masons, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. Which is so funny because there's so many policemen who are Irish that join the Mason
yeah,
within this. That's a whole nother thing, but that's like Blue Lodges, whatever. That's a social club. This
yeah.
was like an esoteric group who did all the traditional rituals and dinners and the whole
Hmm.
thing. Um, the thing I couldn't stomach was like this. And don't get me wrong, I like hierarchy. I like this part, but the kind of bureaucratic hierarchy, like I'm gonna listen to some liberal professor tell me how to engage with like esoteric beliefs. Like, no, I'm gonna
Oh my.
listen to you about shit. Nah, I'm not listening to you about anything. Zach, if you're gonna join this organization, you gotta understand how to fall in line and listen. Listen to who? You?
Yeah.
We were out at a bar and I'm hanging out with the group of them, and like, the only thing I liked about them, a large amount of them were pipe smokers, which is,
Mm.
my friend has one quote about pipe smoking. He goes, pipe smoking should be done at home. If you do it in public, you're a fucking pretentious asshole. You need a study, you need a place, you need something with like leather from books so you can like have your pipe and not look like I'm doing it. But they're doing it in public, and I don't know how this happened. We're ended up at the table with. Well, the funny thing about this, good friend of my wife's, her brother was flirting with joining this lodge. Now he's so Pittsburgh and Squirrel Hill is the largest Orthodox and
Yeah, Squirrel Hill. Yeah,
traditional and
I
Hasidic
saw the
population
cart.
outside
Yeah,
Brooklyn, which makes it
yeah.
like third in the world.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Um, so she grew up on the street in Squirrel Hill that my friends rented a place not far down from, but I run into her brother. So we take a photograph together and she's like, why is your husband, my brother, like hanging out? It's like, oh, it's a Mason thing. But he's part of this like gun club
Mm,
that I guess is very heavy with the Hasidic and Orthodox
yeah.
groups. And for the kids, it's like a whole day thing. The parents go to the range and the kids like do archery, which I think is delightful and very fun.
Yeah.
We're hanging out, we're talking, having a great time. But I, the Masons, just a big part of like my life has been like there must be cool people somewhere.
Yeah.
Where are the people in the know? This has led me down like satanic pipelines, Sevacontist, Masons, Oddfellows, OTO. I've explored every fringe esoteric group, and the horrible thing is they always leave you wanting.
Mhm.
Like when I was a kid and I was like into punk music and stuff like this, like there must be an underground.
Yeah.
There must be a place where there are cool, groovy people in the know who are fantastic to hang out with. The closest I ever got to it was this group of philosophy professors and grad students I would hang out with at Gooski's. And I got turned on to them by the bar owner, Marcus, who I mentioned earlier. He was like, Zach, I'm sick of talking to you. I'm going to turn you on to these people so I don't have to talk to you anymore. Still some of my closest friends today. The one woman, she was a dual major in philosophy and classic studies. She's been teaching Latin down in Texas. She met her now probably future husband at this Passage event.
Mm.
Fantastic people. The other dude is monstrous, but also a very talented musician. He would love to have been a broke professor. Unfortunately, had to do. I don't know how to describe his job other than he does book reports for companies, and he
Mm.
makes like $250,000 doing it. He hates it. He's trying to store away money as fast as possible to retire, and then like teach in retirement.
Mm.
But that was a bit of a golden era hanging out here in Pittsburgh. There's a filmmaker, there's esoteric philosophers, there's right-wing philosophers, and my wife's like, "Why do you describe them as monstrous?" It's like they are. I've seen them make people cry. Um, it was beautiful. It was fantastic. Many of them have since moved away, such as academia.
Yeah.
But that was a very special moment. But that aside, always looking at, I always, this is, I think, a lot of young men. You want the introduction. You want
Initiation.
the initiation plot line.
Mhm.
I think is a thing that many young men desire. Who's going to transition me from youth to adulthood?
Yeah.
And you'd hope there's some connective knowledge from the old world to the new. But I have to honestly say, it's true when people say like no one's coming to save you.
Yeah.
I've
Unfortunately.
looked into essentially all of these groups deeply, heavily.
Oh man.
It's tragic. It's not there. Um, and if you do think it's there, you're half fooling yourself because you is like sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah.
I wish beyond hope. Where are the initiated men that I can call my peers and engage with? The closest I've gone is like talking to like other than the philosophy friends, like talking to Fen or like
Yeah.
talking to you is like, no, it doesn't exist. We're gonna have to make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's tragic, but optimistic. It's like, well, maybe it's better if we do it ourselves.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't. And well, talking about the MDE thing
Yeah.
and their fan base, I was listening to some like old stream on there. Some tragic man who happened to be from Pittsburgh. He's like, I'm gonna off myself. Where can I find cool people in Pittsburgh? I need to track down his handle and reach out to the guy. But it's like, yeah, maybe it's a lost cause. Maybe he's truly and nothing will
Yeah.
save him. But if I'm not going to try, when I started teaching, my goal, I told my wife this is my goal is like, I want to be the professor I wish I had.
Mhm.
Now, I had a great professor. He was a wonderful alcoholic, would hang out at this Portuguese club. Like in Pittsburgh, there's like the private drinking establishment, like the Polish
Yeah.
War Veterans of America. My father actually stumbled upon him when he was visiting me. He grew up around Pittsburgh, and so he's like, "Oh, brick door, no signage. Like this is a private drinking club. I'm gonna go in here. It's gonna be the cheapest drinks in the city." Um, but no, I loved it. He was a drunk. His wife would come pick him up at the end of the evening. He's like, "Zach, we talking in class. He's like, Zach, we'll pick this back up at the office." which was the bar. And he had this tiny little glass they'd always set out for him, and he would never pour the beer into it, but they pour beer into it. So he felt like he was having more drinks, but it's just this portioning it out. It's a very high New England level of alcoholism. But it was fantastic. I just, there is no through line to the past anymore. We're going to have to rebuild some of this from scratch. And I don't know any other way around it. And unfortunately, it's people like you, people like Fenn, people like Stout, people like me. When it comes to the arts, we can't expect the rest of the Trump administration to do art this way.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Yeah,
it's gonna have to be us somehow by some means, and it's gonna take our legwork to do it, and we're gonna have to be charming as we do it. But no, it is a top-down authority on this, and the crown belongs to who takes it. And we've got to figure out how to network, find the money, encourage the people with money to waste their money on us for the betterment of culture.
Because the crown's in the gutter, obviously, but
truly.
Yeah. But why do you think that is, though? Like, why do you think that in terms of initiation, when it comes to art, philosophy, mysticism, like you've obviously, like, for example,
because there's a huge distrust of it for a long time.
I
mean, essentially, the whole '60s movement was throwing it out.
Interesting. It wasn't reviving it; it was throwing it out.
They were reviving a certain level of individuation.
Yes.
Jungian. We're doing the spirit quest this way, but they did not trust their own culture on this. It had to be Native American.
Exactly. Yeah, for Jeff Schuon.
Or Pocahontas claiming. Well, this is the thing: the noble savage. A, there's nothing noble about the savage, but B, also I believe it.
Yeah.
I won't get into Aborigine skull shape, but I think Dreamtime is a real thing.
Well, Jung also wrote about that, like when he went to Africa, and then of course Native American.
Yeah, they're not gonna build the wheel, but they're gonna do something else.
Yeah.
The rewilding of people, I think, is hugely important. Hugely. The funny thing is, when we talk about underserved communities, no one's ever like, well, why aren't there enough pygmies in college? Why are there not enough abos in nursing programs? It's not the same thing,
right?
And it doesn't need to be. I think too many spurgoids and racialists online are like, well, there's a hierarchy. I'm like, well, cute, adorable. That's also assuming every human has to they still have this kind of
utilitarianism
of performance. No, it doesn't have to be like that. The value of life on this is not just about GDP performance. That's to say there's nothing gained from a drum circle in Africa visiting. It's stupid. Saying this life is the only thing of value. This life has no value. You can be racist and still say that there's value to that.
Yeah.
And I think the only absurd thing is everyone has to function here. No one's hell. The Irish are barely capable of that.
Yeah, well, it's like the sort of
I can say that I married one.
My girlfriend is also Irish, so
God, aren't they adorable?
I know. Yeah,
I have a being soft spot for the Irish. Although I will also say, oh, you mean only white people never conquer anyone?
Oh man, no, but that's what I mean. There is it's the same basic neoliberal logic that even the contemporary left is adopting now.
Yeah,
it's not
the normie neoliberal where it's still well, we have to have private equity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this whole thing, there's the theory of the whole woke thing wasn't about liberal progressive politics. It was about how do we shut down Occupy Wall Street. Well, when Hillary Clinton's on campaign trail, it's well, yes, we could solve this. We could tax these people more, but that's not going to get rid of sexism or racism.
Yeah.
Hey, the first time we've ever talked, you're delightful.
Oh, thank you, man. You
You're a
too.
great
Yeah.
conversationalist.
Well, it is part of my job, so
Well, I love
I'll
nothing
do
more
it.
than a good person to like.
Yeah, man. Yeah, me
It's
too.
incredible. I love it.
Yeah. It's
And
like I
also,
feel like a
not a
lot of
bad shirt
people.
either, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm big into the, the Hawaiian, what do they call it? The pagoda
You need to listen to some of
sweaters.
that Martin, Denny, Arthur Lyman stuff.
Yeah.
I love Exotica.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Boyd's also a fan of that stuff. Pittsburghers are like pod people. I did my due diligence on this. It's like we go out in the world, we bring back war brides, and that's the only thing that keeps up the population here.
Yeah, yeah. There's a particular flavor to the Yinzer. I feel like the Yinzer gets like too much heat. Yeah.
Well, I'll put it this way. They're not as passive aggressive as like your Midwesterner,
Mhm.
but they're also not as like actively aggressive as your like East Coaster. It's this like
Yeah.
magical
Yeah.
third thing where life in Pittsburgh is faster than like Southern or Midwest life, but it's
Mhm.
slower than East Coast life. My wife calls Pittsburgh my other girlfriend. I fucking love this town. Well, also, like, I had so many friends in New York who stayed in New York and they were working for other artists making the art for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
The time, space, energy. They're finally getting picked up by galleries, some of them, but they're showing work that they made in grad school.
Mm.
And that blows my mind. It's like a decade later, and you're still showing work that you made in grad school. Like, whether it was a right or wrong decision, I prioritize like art practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pittsburgh cost of living made sense. I could live
Mhm.
here. I haven't had a real job. Real job. Last job I had was prep chefing and dishwashing at this like Italian bakery. And I was fresh out of grad school, and I probably worked there for 4 or 5 months. Then I got a teaching position part time. But then I started selling a little better and networked more and got my first solo show in the city. Was able to move work. I encourage many artists to start their prices low ish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I had to raise my prices recently. Like the Death of the Lunar Cult show, I upped the prices a bit. You can never lower your prices. I'm selling less, but at a higher cost.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
sweet spot was like the 15 to like 3,000 zone.
Well, plus like the scale of the work, you have to factor that in as well, and the fact that it takes so long to
Well, yeah,
make.
I know
And
some people who
yeah.
like price by square foot, price
Yeah.
by because like you're dealing with artists who are doing the same square footage but much less time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then pricing by out you're not gonna get an hour wage on this. Pricing is vibes.
Yeah, pricing is vibes. Like I
Pricing
work
is
on a smaller
absolutely vibes.
scale, so yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Like I'll give you an example. Like because I got to
Like I miss my
scan a
like
bunch. Like
I miss my like 1,500 to like $3,000 price range. I was moving those like crazy.
yeah, yeah,
Um, because people could read. They're like, okay, that's not unreachable, and I
yeah.
haven't found a way to break into the market of the 5 to 10
Mm,
because like the 3 to 5 existed for a while, but now it's just I've stopped doing gallery pricing versus studio pricing.
mm,
Well, because A, it upsets the galleries,
yeah,
and B, you're making so my prices are just my prices.
yeah,
If there's
yeah,
30, if there's 50%, well, hell, you hear some of these blue chip galleries are taking. I get it, this overhead, they're taking like 60% and 70%. Hey, if you can move the work, the only thing I will never stomach is like, oh, I'm bringing my own clients here, people who buy my work regardless, and now I'm paying you. A gallery needs to earn their thing by introducing it to clients that I'm not going to know or meet.
exactly. That's the job. Yeah,
Yeah, I get they have overhead, they have all this stuff, but if I'm
Mhm.
doing all the advertising and promotion and it's my people who would buy it regardless of showing it there or just put it
Then
up in
just
my
sell
own
it
hallway,
yourself. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
No,
Yeah.
what am I giving you? A vanity fee so I can show in your place? Like, work.
Yeah. Um, no, but that's is that why you didn't? Well, I mean, it's funny you mentioned the speed of Pittsburgh because it's fast. On like, it is physically faster because of the driving. The
Well,
drive is.
Pittsburgh is
Yeah.
essentially, if you're not from here, navigating this town is insane.
Oh God, yeah, I learned that the hard way.
There's a famous bluegrass song about Pittsburgh called "You Can't Get There From Here."
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
see it on the hillside over there.
But you have to
You go down
stay
through a
grounded.
valley, go across a bridge. And it's like, no, you
Yeah,
can't get there from here. You can see it.
yeah.
You can't get there.
No, but it's beautiful. Like I've done a lot of
Most tree-covered
stuff.
city in the U.S.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Well, because like half of the things I can't build on because the hills are too steep.
Hmm. Hmm. But is that why you didn't
National
go to?
Geographic ranked it as one of the top 10 skylines in the world.
Oh, really?
Well,
Yeah.
if you come in from the airport, you pop out the tunnel, and then boom, the city's right
Yeah, the
there.
Liberty Tunnel and then
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the only city I know with a reveal. And the way the
Um,
fog settles down in the valleys around the
mhm,
city,
mhm.
it's
Oh, you grew up in Mars. Yeah,
yeah, we have
that's
a flying saucer statue in our town square,
Oh, really, eh?
which probably started me on my well, every like I don't know if this is true anymore, but every like school or public library had a section with like UFO encounters or Sasquatch or stuff like this, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got all those books out and encouraged all my friends. Like the one for initiation, I started a club when I was in third grade called the Weirdos, and the initiation was you had to read all these books about. Well, hell, I've been collecting them since. I've got a whole stack of these things over here,
Yeah.
but there was something about like being from a town called Mars
Mhm.
and having a UFO statue there, and like my mother was a huge Rush Limbaugh fan, and like I just remember being terrified when he was covering Heaven's Gate as I was like
Oh my
unfolding. Yeah,
god! Yeah, Rush I wonder if you could find those on YouTube or wherever, like Rush
I
covering
need to
Heaven's
look
Gate.
them up again because like
Yeah.
it's just etched in my memory. And then
I remember, like, many nights listening to Coast AM with my
Coast
mom.
Coast is the
Yeah,
best.
yeah. The
Actually,
old Air Bell stuff. Yeah, yeah.
the alcoholic professor I mentioned earlier was a huge fan of Coast to Coast,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and he was like, "They're not aliens; they're all time travelers."
Oh, the time traveler theory of the
Yeah,
UFOs.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
yeah,
then
yeah.
Sasquatch is a time traveler as well.
Yeah,
But
so yeah, yeah.
although the only time traveling narrative that I always loved because it was early internet, but it's just such a well done narrative is John Teeter.
John Teeter, yes,
Well,
yes.
because like
Those interviews.
also his like theory of like the American Revolution, I think is probably more true to form.
Mhm. Mm.
Whereas like the established power in the cities, the rural areas, and oddly like Russia and China back into rural areas, which makes sense for their interests
Yeah.
within this. But I'm just like the Teeter story just like got my mind going like crazy. And then you know that like Charlie No Face painting I did? It's like my
Mhm, mhm.
icon on Instagram.
Yes, yes.
This is a real person.
That
Um,
was, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, he was a young kid who, an avid bird watcher, climbed a power line, got electrocuted, ears, nose, facial tissue,
Yeah, yeah.
gone. My friend's grandmother has a photo of her with him. He'd walk up this stretch of road. He sold like belts and wallets and stuff, but he was blind and
Yeah.
that thing. There's some great photos online of him with like young greasers, like giving him cigarettes and stuff. But the story I heard as a kid on the school bus was he was struck by lightning, hit by a train, and then like took plant matter and rubbed it on his wounds and turned him green. And he lived under this bridge. And if you didn't bring him cigarettes or beer, he would steal your face.
Oh, man, yeah,
And my parents
yeah.
didn't smoke. So I was like, oh, how am I going to survive this if I ever encounter Charlie No Face.
He would walk at night. Like that was the big
Mhm.
thing. Like he loved walking, but he could only do it at
Well,
night.
you do it
And
nice,
kids would
so
like
like,
try to
so
track
he
him.
wouldn't,
Yeah.
so he wouldn't freak out people, and it didn't matter to him.
Yes.
He couldn't see, so walking at night didn't matter.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
said like why they call him the Green Man is because like I guess with early headlights and the scar tissue, he was so pale he like
Mhm.
glowed green in these things. I tried to do true to form on his portrait. Um, there's this great photo of him in like some old like army surplus jacket as an older man with like the gray hair. But there's some photos of him when he's young with some greasers in the 50s, and they're like done up like Marlon Brando standing next to him. Where you're rebelling against what do you got? Like type look, and Charlie No Face there is like hitting a butt. It's just like,
That's real
well,
avant-garde right
well,
there.
what got
Yeah.
me into it is like there's that Cropsey doc
Mm.
about like the urban legend in New Jersey about Cropsey.
Oh yes, yeah. Andre Rand was
Yeah, and
the.
then I was like, is there any truth? So I was like a freshman in college when I saw that, and I was like looking up, was there any truth to the Charlie No Face thing? And it was Raymond Robinson. I dive into this, and then I got picked up years later by this like gallerist in New York, who's like the sole proprietor of.
Thank you for listening to the Content Minded podcast. If you wish to support me and listen to every episode in full, then please go to patreon.com/giantart productions and substack.com/Gio's Content Corner. There you will find the full archive of every Content Minded episode, as well as every Giant Art Review episode, and exclusive to all patrons, the weekly Cole Report, where I break down interesting stories and discourse from throughout the week. Subscribe today to keep the content renaissance alive.